Imagine a place where time stands still, where the air is heavy with silence, and colossal crystals rise like frozen thunderbolts from the dark. A hidden world beneath our feet, vast, ancient, and alive. Every layer we descend reveals not just rock, but the memory of our planet, the echoes of fire, pressure, and unimaginable transformation. We're not diving into a fantasy. This is real. And tonight, we journey downward, deep beneath the crust, where humanity has barely begun to scratch the surface of its own planet. Welcome to Earth's deep secrets, subterranean geological wonders. The quest for the Earth's core. Chapter 1. Descent through stone. Imagine the world beneath your feet. Beneath the grass, the streets, the oceans, a hidden landscape stretches downward, layer after layer of stone, heat, and time. It waits there in silence, a planet within a planet, patient and ancient. For most of human history, we've looked upward, toward stars, moons, and skies that change with every season. But tonight, we look down through the crust of our own world, down through the weight of continents and the dark rivers of the mantle, down to where the heart of Earth itself glows, unseen, untouched, but forever calling. Breathe slowly and imagine the descent beginning. At the surface, we are surrounded by the familiar. Mountains crumble into dust, rivers carve valleys, and the wind carries sand across endless plains. But the deeper we go, the older everything becomes. Every meter downward is another chapter in time. The first few layers of soil are young, centuries, maybe millennia in age. But as we descend, the rock hardens, colors change, and the silence grows thicker. It feels as if the air itself remembers. Geologists call this the crust, Earth's outer skin. It's thin compared to the vastness beneath it, yet it carries all we know: continents, oceans, cities, forests, every human story ever told. On average, it's only about 35 kilometers thick. That's less than the distance many people drive to work each day, and beyond it begins a world no human has ever seen directly. The descent slows. The temperature rises. The walls glisten with minerals that catch stray beams of imagined light. Quartz, feldspar, mica. Each crystal a record of deep pressure, cooled magma, and the patient breathing of the earth. Our journey toward the core truly began in the 20th century. In the far reaches of Russia's Kola Peninsula, scientists set up a metal platform on a stretch of tundra. Their goal seemed simple: to drill as deep as human technology would allow. But what began as a scientific challenge soon became a philosophical one. The Kola Superdeep borehole, 12 kilometers deep. It took decades, and every meter brought new surprises. Sound waves behaved strangely. Rocks once thought solid behaved like warm wax. And at the deepest levels, the heat, nearly 200 degrees Celsius, was far greater than expected. Imagine standing near the rig, feeling the vibration of machinery as steel bit into the planet. The hum echoed for miles across frozen ground, like the heartbeat of something vast awakening below. Even at 12 kilometers, the scientists had touched only the upper crust. Yet they had reached rocks more than 2 billion years old, relics from a time when Earth's surface was molten and unrecognizable. They listened to the echoes of the drill and heard whispers from the past, seismic reflections hinting at layers even deeper, denser, stranger. And when the machinery finally stopped, What remained was more than a borehole. It was a symbol, humanity's first true attempt to reach into its own planet's memory. If you close your eyes now, you can imagine descending through that narrow shaft. It's dark, quiet, and still. Your heartbeat slows to match the rhythm of distant tremors pulsing through the crust. Each vibration is the language of the earth, slow, steady, older than words. Below you, the rock is metamorphic, granite transforming under pressure, its minerals rearranging like tiny mosaics. Small pockets of water glisten in microscopic cracks trapped since before life began. Those droplets have not seen the surface for billions of years. They sit in silence, waiting, untouched by sunlight or wind. The mind drifts with them. Time feels different here. Every moment stretches like the slow flow of continents drifting on invisible currents of heat. And in that stillness you begin to sense what scientists describe as the living geology of the earth. The crust bends and creaks, plates move silently, and the mantle below churns with slow convection, a cycle that never stops, even as we sleep. It is the quiet engine beneath existence. As we drift deeper, the air fades away, and the weight of stone becomes all-encompassing. Down here, there are no seasons, no storms, no sound, but the pulse of the planet itself. The deeper rocks are dense and dark, basaltic, heavy with iron and magnesium. They form the ocean floors, those ancient plains hidden beneath miles of water. If we were descending beneath an ocean trench, the crust above us would be only about 7 kilometers thick, far thinner than under the continents. That's why scientists dream of drilling from the sea, where the gateway to the mantle is closest. Projects like Japan's Chiku and America's Mohole aim to do exactly that, to pierce the crust and touch the mantle. Though neither reached it, each attempt taught us how alive the ground beneath the sea truly is. Thermal vents rise like chimneys, releasing clouds of minerals that feed entire ecosystems of strange life. Creatures thrive there, untouched by sunlight, nourished only by the chemistry of the earth. In those dark waters, science glimpsed a mirror of the planet's beginnings, life born not from the sky, but from the depths. The deeper we drift, the warmer it becomes. Temperatures climb steadily, a gradient of heat that increases about 25 degrees for every kilometer. At 10 kilometers, the heat could bake bread. At 100, it would melt steel. Yet, in this warmth, minerals shimmer like embers, forming veins of gold, copper, and quartz. They weave through rock like the arteries of a sleeping giant, carrying the memory of volcanic fire. You can almost feel the slow pulse of magma far below, not violent but steady, as if the planet exhales through molten lungs. Every volcano, every earthquake, every tremor we feel on the surface begins in this silent rhythm. Breathe slowly. Let your thoughts flow downward with it. The deeper you imagine going, the quieter everything becomes. The noise of the surface fades, cities, oceans, winds, until there is only the steady hum of heat and pressure. This is the cradle of continents, the foundation upon which everything else stands. Now picture the boundary we call the Mohorovisic discontinuity, or simply the Moho. It's the invisible divide between the crust and the mantle, discovered not by digging, but by listening. In 1909, a Croatian scientist named Andrija Mohorovic studied how earthquake waves moved through the earth. He noticed that some waves sped up abruptly at certain depths, as if hitting a new kind of rock. That sudden change marked the moho, a gateway into the mantle below. We've never touched it directly, yet its presence is known in every seismic ripple. It is the first true threshold between the world we know and the world we've only imagined. Crossing it in your mind, the texture of reality shifts. The rock is no longer rigid, it flows slowly, like wax under enormous pressure. This is the upper mantle, stretching for hundreds of kilometers downward. It's a region of olivine and peridotite, dense greenish minerals glowing faintly in geothermal light. If we could stand here without being crushed, we'd see landscapes of stone currents moving at the pace of fingernail growth. Continents ride atop these flows like rafts. Volcanoes are the breath of this place. Every eruption you've ever seen, every island chain born from the sea, begins here in the silent drift of rock heated by the core's ancient fire. Beneath us now lies the transition zone, a realm of change and compression. Here, minerals rearrange into denser forms, like snow pressed into ice. It's where sound travels faster than steel can carry, and heat moves like a ghost through crystalline structures. For billions of years, this zone has recycled the surface world, pulling ocean crust downward, melting it, and pushing new rock upward again. It is the Earth's way of breathing. Inhale and exhale, subduction and uplift. Every mountain range, every ocean trench, every quake is a whisper from this deep and constant motion. And yet, down here, it feels calm. The slow undulation of the mantle is like the rhythm of sleep, eternal, gentle, unhurried. In this stillness, one begins to understand the nature of deep time. Not years or centuries, but eons. An hour here is like a heartbeat in a billion-year dream. The mind drifts. The heat becomes comfort, the pressure a soft embrace. You can sense the weight of continents above, silent, heavy, balanced on a world of moving stone. And below, you can almost feel the pull of the core, the magnetic heart that anchors every compass, every migration, every field line that dances across the sky. The deeper you go, the closer you feel to something ancient, steady, and wise. The earth doesn't rush. It turns, breathes, and waits. In the darkness of the mantle, surrounded by timeless rock and liquid fire, you find a strange calm, the peace of knowing that everything moves, yet nothing is ever truly lost. The crust rises, erodes, and falls again. Oceans form, vanish, return. But the heart of the earth remains, pulsing softly through all of it. Let yourself rest within that rhythm. Let the slow heartbeat of the planet guide your breathing. This is where the story begins, the first chapter of a descent that will continue deeper, slower, and stranger still. Because beneath this world we know lies another, and its silence has much to tell us. Before we journey deeper, a moment of quiet gratitude. To everyone watching, listening, or perhaps slowly drifting to sleep, thank you. Your curiosity and calm attention keep this exploration alive. If this voyage through our hidden world has brought you peace, wonder, or even a few moments of rest, I'm truly glad. Your support helps us continue creating these journeys into science, space, and the timeless rhythms of nature. So if you haven't already, please take a gentle moment to like, subscribe, and join this growing community of dreamers and explorers. Together we'll keep descending, deeper into mystery, deeper into understanding, and perhaps deeper into sleep. Now, breathe softly. The descent continues. Let's go further, into the heart of the mantle, where rivers of fire move beneath the world. Chapter 2. The Mantle Sea. Rivers of fire beneath the world. Close your eyes. The surface world is gone. The weight of oceans and continents rests far above, silent and distant. Down here, you drift inside a world of slow fire, the Earth's mantle. It isn't a sea of liquid flame as old legends imagined, but a vast ocean of rock so hot and pressurized that it flows like honey over time. Every ripple in this deep current moves continents, raises mountains, and opens oceans. The planet's hidden tides never rest. They move at the pace of eternity. Breathe slowly and imagine those currents. Ribbons of molten stone drift upward in glowing arcs. When they reach the surface, volcanoes are born. When they sink, entire plates of crust are drawn downward, melting into new forms. It is a silent cycle, destruction becoming creation, endlessly repeated. The mantle begins just below the moho, that invisible border discovered through earthquake echoes. At first, the rock is still solid, rich with the green shimmer of olivine. But heat builds with every kilometer downward, softening the minerals until they yield to motion. Seismic waves slow, the earth begins to breathe. Imagine watching a single crystal here, a grain of peridotite suspended in darkness. It twists ever so slightly, nudged by heat from below. Over centuries, it drifts meters. Over millions of years, entire continents move because of that same quiet motion. That is the scale of this place. Nothing hurries. Nothing stops. As you drift deeper, the temperature rises past 1,000 degrees. Pressure squeezes rock until it changes structure, becoming denser, darker. Scientists call this region the asthenosphere, the soft zone that lets the rigid crust slide above it. It is the Earth's unseen ocean, invisible yet powerful enough to shape every mountain range on the planet. Visualize those slow waves of rock, not glowing, not erupting, but pulsing gently like a tide under dim light. Each wave carries the memory of ancient collisions and future creation. The Himalayas, the Andes, the islands of Japan all began as quiet ripples here. Above us, cities sleep on the drifting surface. They do not feel this motion, yet every moment they glide a little east, a little west, carried on the mantle's breath. Deep within this vast layer are the mantle plumes, rising columns of heat that climb thousands of kilometers toward the crust. They are the planet's slow lightning, invisible sparks that feed volcanoes like Hawaii or Iceland. Around each plume, solid rock glows with deep red light. Molten silicates shimmer, sliding upward in shapes that resemble fountains frozen in time. If you could watch for 1,000,000 years, you'd see those plumes move, merge, and fade. Continents would drift, seas would open, climates would change, all because of these gentle rivers of fire. And through it all, the earth remains calm, steady, breathing. Occasionally, the surface reminds us of this inner life. An eruption, a quake, the trembling of mountains, brief flashes of the mantle's slow pulse. To us, they seem violent. To the planet, they are whispers, mere adjustments in its endless rhythm. Listen to that rhythm now. It's not the pounding of drums or the roar of lava. It's the low hum of pressure, the steady expansion and contraction of heat and gravity. If you imagine it closely enough, You can almost hear it beneath your own heartbeat, a faint, eternal resonance. Scientists study this hidden world with instruments tuned to the language of waves. Seismographs record the echoes of distant quakes. Satellites sense the slow swell of continents. From those faint signals, we have learned that the mantle is layered like a vast symphony. Each level has its own tempo, its own tone. There is the upper mantle, where motion is free. The transition zone, where minerals compress and transform. And the lower mantle, dense, hot, and mysterious, where waves travel faster than through iron. Together they form a single moving organism, a planetary heart that beats once every few 100 million years. Imagine floating through that lower mantle now. It is darker here, the heat rising to 3,000 degrees. The pressure is so intense that even atoms rearrange themselves, forming crystals never seen on the surface. Diamonds grow in these depths, born from carbon trapped and squeezed until it becomes pure light in solid form. A diamond sparkle seen on the surface is the memory of this crushing stillness, a whisper from the deep. The mind begins to slow in the warmth. Every thought drifts like smoke. The deep hum of the planet blends with your breath, matching its rhythm. You begin to sense the planet as one being, crust, mantle, core, and the thin layer of life that clings to its skin. All of it connected, all of it in motion, all of it perfectly balanced. In some places, pieces of the mantle rise close to the surface. Scientists call them ophiolites, fragments of deep earth pushed upward by tectonic collision. When explorers find them on mountain peaks, it's like finding a message from the underworld carved into the sky. Every layer, every mineral, tells a story written in slow motion. Some rocks here are over 4 billion years old, older than the moon, older than any life. They remember a time when Earth glowed entirely with molten fire, when continents were yet to form, when the first oceans steamed and vanished in cycles of heat. To hold such a stone is to hold a fragment of the planet's first heartbeat. The deeper we drift, the more heat surrounds us. This warmth isn't violent. It's the quiet residue of creation, the leftover energy from Earth's birth, and the constant decay of elements like uranium and thorium. It is the planet's internal fireplace, burning slowly, evenly, never extinguished. This heat drives everything, weather above, plate motion below, even the magnetic shield that protects life. Every sunrise owes a quiet debt to this deep, invisible glow. Breathe in that warmth. Let it settle around you. You are safe inside it, within the same energy that formed mountains and oceans. The same energy that sustains the spinning of the planet itself. Now imagine the boundary at the base of the mantle, the core-mantle divide. It lies nearly 3,000 kilometers below your feet. Here, the solid rock above meets the molten iron below. It is a horizon of contrast, cold stone touching living metal. Scientists believe this layer is rough, filled with strange structures, mountain-sized formations of dense minerals, floating above the liquid core like islands in a fiery sea. Some of them stretch for hundreds of kilometers. Their purpose remains unknown, their shapes hinted at only by seismic shadows. Perhaps they are relics of the planet's formation, ancient materials that never mixed fully with the rest of the Earth. Perhaps they are the roots of mantle plumes, the beginnings of volcanoes yet unborn. Whatever they are, they form the threshold of the world's inner ocean. As you drift near that border, the pressure becomes unimaginable. millions of times greater than at the surface. The temperature glows beyond comprehension. And yet, even here, motion continues. Slow waves move through the boundary, bending and refracting like sound through water. They rise, cool, and sink again, the perpetual dance that keeps the surface alive. The planet is self-sustaining, self-balancing. Every mountain that rises must one day fall. Every ocean that opens must one day close. It is the poetry of geology, written in rock and fire. Let your thoughts float in that rhythm. The mantle's pulse becomes your pulse. The deep hum becomes your breath. There is no hurry here, only continuity. Time has no edge. Moments overlap, slow and circular, like currents in molten stone. And somewhere above, far above, the crust cools, the air moves, the stars wheel quietly in the night. But down here there is only warmth, silence, and gravity's gentle hold. The journey toward the core has just reached its threshold. Chapter 3. The outer core, the planet's liquid heart. The world above has vanished into distance and silence. Mountains, oceans, the green skin of continents, all far behind. You drift now at the edge of something deeper, a threshold between stone and metal. Below lies the outer core, an ocean of molten iron and nickel that encircles the planet's center. It is unlike anything else on Earth, dense, fluid, luminous from within. It moves slowly, but with enough force to shape the magnetic field that wraps around the entire world. Take a quiet breath and picture it. A sea of liquid metal, more than 2,000 kilometers thick, swirling and folding in immense spirals. This is the planet's liquid heart, the hidden engine of our magnetic shield, the power that keeps our skies blue and our atmosphere in. The descent toward this layer is like passing through the veil of a star. Pressure builds until rock can no longer remain solid. Atoms slip, crystals dissolve, and the landscape changes from rigid stone to glowing motion. At the boundary, the core mantle divide, seismic waves suddenly slow. Sound itself moves differently here, bending through currents of iron that never sleep. The heat is staggering, more than 4,000 degrees, nearly the temperature of the sun's surface. And yet, in this impossible environment, order emerges from chaos. The metal moves, and in its motion, electricity is born. Every twist of molten iron generates currents, and those currents weave together into a field, invisible lines that reach from pole to pole, stretching far beyond the atmosphere into space. It is called the geodynamo, the mechanism that turns the Earth into a living magnet. Imagine standing, if such a thing were possible, within that vast metallic ocean. There is no up or down, no air, no light. Only movement, slow and hypnotic, each current 1,000 kilometers across. Streams of iron drift past one another, rising and falling in slow convection. Some rise toward the mantle. Others sink toward the inner core, completing a cycle that may take thousands of years. The sound would be deep and endless, a steady vibration rather than a roar, like the heartbeat of something ancient, vast, and patient. The temperature glows crimson and gold, the metal shimmering like liquid glass. Here, time has no urgency. Every movement is deliberate, measured by gravity and heat rather than seconds and minutes. Scientists cannot visit this place directly, but they can read its signature. When volcanic rock cools at the surface, the iron inside aligns with the planet's magnetic field, freezing that pattern into stone. By studying those alignments in layers of ancient rock, geologists have discovered that Earth's magnetic poles flip again and again. North becomes south, south becomes north. Each reversal takes thousands of years, but it begins here, deep within the outer core. A shift in flow, a new spiral forming, and the invisible map of magnetism rewrites itself. For creatures on the surface, it happens so slowly that it passes unnoticed, yet it reminds us how alive the planet truly is. Breathe softly and picture the magnetic field rising from this hidden sea. It arcs outward, looping around the planet in vast curves, deflecting solar wind and cosmic radiation. Without it, the atmosphere would be stripped away. Oceans would evaporate into space. Life would fade. This silent field is our guardian, born from fire and motion, maintained by the steady turning of liquid metal. Every compass needle you've ever seen owes its loyalty to this deep, unseen current. Within this metallic ocean, heat moves upward in slow spirals, convection cells, scientists call them. Imagine bubbles rising in molten glass, except each one the size of continents. The outer core flows around the solid inner core like wind around a mountain. That motion, combined with Earth's rotation, twists the currents into vast helices, creating the magnetic field's swirling geometry. It is a constant dance, rotation, heat, magnetism, all feeding one another. This is how the planet sustains itself. A balance of motion and stillness, of heat escaping and gravity pulling inward. You can think of the outer core as the planet's circulatory system. It carries energy outward, cooling the deep interior while fueling everything above. The crust breathes because this layer breathes. The mantle moves because this layer moves. Even the slow drift of continents and the gentle rise of volcanic islands are threads connected to this single molten heart. Every tremor, every magnetic pulse, every aurora that dances across the polar skies, all trace back to this glowing sea of iron. The magnetic field does more than protect. It also connects. It extends far into space, forming a cocoon called the magnetosphere. There, the solar wind, a river of charged particles from the sun, bends and flows around the Earth like water. Some of those particles slip through near the poles, where they collide with the upper atmosphere, creating the shimmering curtains of the aurora. Those green and violet lights that wave over Arctic nights are the outer core made visible, the deep Earth touching the sky. A reminder that even in the most distant beauty above, the source lies within. Deeper still, near the inner boundary, the liquid metal becomes sluggish. Heat radiates outward from the inner core, causing cooler regions of the outer core to sink and hotter ones to rise. This convection is what keeps the geodynamo alive. Without that thermal difference, the magnetic field would fade. The Moon, Mars, and Mercury once had molten cores like ours, but as they cooled and solidified, their fields weakened or vanished. Without magnetism, their atmospheres thinned and their surfaces became barren. Earth endures because its heart still moves. It is a gentle reminder that motion is life, even in metal and fire. Now imagine drifting near the very edge of the inner core, where liquid begins to crystallize into solid iron. The outer core here glows brighter, the temperature nearly 6,000 degrees. Tiny crystals form, falling like metallic snow toward the center. As they sink, they release heat, driving new motion in the liquid above. In that way, the inner core grows slowly, year after year, like a pearl forming within a shell. The planet cools, but it cools with grace, not dying, only changing. The thought is comforting. Everything changes. Even the deepest, densest parts of the world evolve in silence, shaping what lies above. The magnetic field will one day fade, the core will one day solidify, but long before that, new worlds will have been born, new forms of life will rise, new skies will shimmer with auroras. For now, this heart continues to turn. Its rhythm matches your breath, slow and deliberate. You can almost feel it, a faint vibration through the dark, steady and eternal. Scientists sometimes call this region the Great Conductor, for it carries both electricity and meaning. It connects the fiery beginnings of the planet to the calm surface we inhabit. It is the reason a compass points north, why birds find their way across oceans, why the sun's storms cannot strip our air away. Every heartbeat of life on Earth echoes from this molten sea. Imagine floating there, weightless within it. Light shimmers through molten currents, turning the darkness into gold. Streams of liquid metal spiral gently around you. No sound, no fear, only warmth, motion, and the deep hum of planetary breath. Each exhale of yours joins that rhythm. Each inhale draws in the energy of an entire world. In that stillness you can almost hear the magnetic field singing, a song of balance, invisible but always there. Above this glowing ocean lies everything we know, the mantle's slow waves, the drifting crust, the fragile skin of air and water that cradles life. All of it sustained by the unseen motion here. You are part of that system, every cell of you carrying the signature of iron, born from stars, mirrored in this metallic sea. The iron in your blood was forged in ancient suns, and now hums in resonance with the Earth's own iron heart. You are not separate from the planet. You are a small echo of its fire, cooled into form, breathing on its surface. As you rest, the mind drifts with the flow. The molten tides become soft waves of thought, carrying you deeper into calm. There is no beginning or end here, only circulation, only continuity. The outer core keeps turning, and with it, so does the world. Magnetic lines wrap around the planet like threads of light. Auroras shimmer. The compass needle holds its quiet direction. And beneath it all, the liquid heart keeps pulsing, gentle, endless, serene. For now, we leave it undisturbed. The next descent will take us into the inner core itself, a solid sphere within the liquid sea, where iron becomes crystal, and the planet's deepest mysteries wait. Until then, rest with the rhythm of this molten world. Let its warmth cradle your thoughts. Let its patience steady your breathing. The planet sleeps but never stops dreaming. Chapter 4. The Inner Core, the Crystal World Within. Beneath the molten ocean of the outer core lies something unexpected, something still, solid, and shining. The inner core, a crystal sphere suspended within a sea of liquid metal. It is the quietest place inside the earth, and perhaps the oldest. You've drifted through layers of stone, magma, and molten iron to reach this place. Now you arrive in silence. The movement above slows. The sound of flowing metal fades to a soft, low hum. You've entered a world where iron no longer melts. It freezes under the weight of unimaginable pressure. The temperature here is staggering, nearly 6,000 degrees Celsius, but the crushing force of the entire planet keeps it solid. It is paradox made real. Fire that cannot burn, heat that cannot flow, a sphere of solid iron glowing in perpetual dawn. Light from the surrounding molten sea refracts through the boundary, scattering golden rays across its crystalline surface. Each facet shimmers faintly, like a gemstone carved by gravity itself. This is not stone. It is metal in its most perfect form, iron atoms locked in a lattice, vibrating but never breaking. Scientists believe this core may even be growing as the outer core slowly cools and more liquid iron solidifies, adding new crystalline layers over millions of years. Imagine that deep within the planet, the core slowly expanding, building itself grain by grain, like a heart that grows with every beat. Close your eyes and drift through that vast metallic crystal. It is dense beyond imagination. A single cubic centimeter weighs more than 10 grams. Each atom is packed tightly, moving in slow rhythm, forming repeating patterns that stretch for miles. There is no sound as we know it, only vibrations moving through solid metal. A constant, low, resonant tone. If you could hear it, it would sound like the universe breathing, long, slow, infinite. Scientists study this invisible world through the language of seismic waves. When earthquakes ripple through the earth, their vibrations pass through each layer differently. Some waves bend, some fade, others quicken or slow. By reading these tiny changes, researchers can map the unseen. And what they've found suggests that even the inner core has layers of its own, perhaps an inner heart, a second crystal sphere spinning at a slightly different speed. It's as if the Earth's soul turns gently inside itself, the deepest part moving independently from the rest, slow, serene, unhurried. This subtle rotation could help sustain the planet's magnetic field, feeding energy back into the molten layer above. A perfect balance between motion and stillness, between liquid and solid. Think about what this means. At the center of our world, there is no chaos, only order. No wind, no current, no firestorm. Just the slow, graceful vibration of atoms holding one another in place. It is the planet's point of calm, the eye within the storm. While volcanoes erupt and continents drift, the inner core endures unchanged. Its silence holds the memory of creation, the echo of the planet's birth, preserved in solid form. Every sound we hear, every wave that travels through the ground, touches this core and returns altered. In that way, it acts like the planet's tuning fork, resonating with each tremor, guiding every vibration. Imagine standing there, if such a thing were possible. No sky, no air, no motion. Only a soft golden glow surrounding you, and the sensation of weight pressing from every direction. There is no up or down, no east or west. Every direction leads outward, toward heat, motion, and life. You are at the center of everything, the still point around which the planet spins, the heart that never beats yet sustains all life above. Here, even time feels different. Seconds and years blur together. Millions of years pass, and the core barely changes. It has existed for more than 1 billion years, forming as the young Earth cooled, and it will remain long after the surface has changed beyond recognition. It is the memory of the planet, written not in words, but in structure. Take a long, calm breath. Let the image form in your mind, a sphere of glowing iron crystals, humming softly in the dark. Every grain of it aligned with magnetic fields, pointing toward the poles, like countless compass needles frozen in harmony. It is both fragile and indestructible, a monument to balance between heat and gravity, between chaos and order. Scientists once thought the inner core was uniform, a single mass of iron. But new evidence suggests it's far more intricate. Some parts may be softer, others more rigid, shaped by temperature and pressure differences. There might even be traces of light elements, hydrogen, carbon, silicon, trapped within, whispering stories of Earth's earliest chemistry. The core, it seems, is not merely solid iron. It is history crystallized. As you rest, imagine time flowing through this place like light through glass. Tectonic plates move above, oceans shift, ice ages come and go. Yet here, in the center, nothing changes. The vibrations of each earthquake ripple through, then fade back into stillness. It is a sanctuary of continuity, an eternal presence beneath impermanence. Every mountain on earth has its roots in this calm. Every breath of air, every drop of water, every living thing, all depend on this invisible foundation. The core speaks to a universal truth. That strength is not always loud. That power can exist in silence. That even in fire there can be peace. Beneath all movement lies stillness. Beneath all noise there is quiet. Beneath all life there is this, a heart of iron glowing softly in the dark. Now imagine the journey outward from here, through the molten sea, the convecting mantle, the drifting crust, until you reach the cool air of night again. Each layer has its purpose. Each carries energy from the one below it. The planet breathes as a single living system, a cosmic organism with a molten heart and a crystalline soul. We are part of it, connected through the same matter. The iron in your body was forged in ancient stars, the same iron that now forms this core. You are stardust turned living, walking upon a world that is still half-star inside. As you breathe, match your rhythm to the slow pulse of this hidden sphere. Inhale the warmth of the world rising. Exhale the quiet strength of what lies beneath. The earth's core hums beneath your feet every second, steady and eternal. It has been there since before oceans, before sky, before life. And it will remain long after the last light of humanity fades. It is not just the center of our planet. It is the center of continuity, the symbol of endurance. Drifting in this thought, the mind grows still. The rhythm of the world slows. The weight of the day lifts, replaced by a gentle awareness of connection. To the ground, to the air, to the silent crystal heart below. You are part of this ancient mechanism, moving in harmony with a billion-year-old rhythm. The same rhythm that keeps the compass true, the atmosphere alive, the planet steady. And in that realization, peace settles deep, quiet, unshakable. For a moment, imagine the last flicker of light dimming at the center, not as an ending, but as a transformation. One day, the core will cool entirely. The planet will grow quiet, but the matter will remain. The iron will drift once again through the cosmos, joining new stars, forming new worlds, new beginnings. Even the end of one world becomes the birth of another. The story never stops, it simply changes form. So rest easy. The heart of the world beats beneath you, slow, steady, unbroken. Its warmth rises through stone and soil, through the ground and into your bones. It has been your companion since the dawn of time, unseen but ever present. Let that warmth cradle your mind now. Let it draw you into stillness, into silence, into peace. And as your thoughts drift, remember, the same calm that rests at the earth's core also rests within you, both born from fire, both steady in silence, both endless in their capacity to endure. The world sleeps, and so may you. Chapter 5. The Boundless Curiosity. Humanity's Journey to the Center. The earth turns beneath the quiet sky. From its surface we see only the crust, mountains, oceans, clouds drifting through sunlight. But beneath it all lies a mystery that has drawn humanity for centuries, a mystery we have never truly seen. Since the dawn of thought, people have wondered what lies beneath their feet. Ancient myths spoke of underworlds, of roots that reach the stars, of gods and fires hidden below. In every culture, the deep earth was sacred, a realm of power, creation, and rebirth. Even now, with all our instruments and science, that fascination endures. We still look downward into the unknown and ask, how deep can we go? What lies beyond the stone? Where does the beating heart of the planet truly begin? Our journey inward began humbly, with shovels, with picks, with the courage to dig. Early miners carved through rock by torchlight, seeking metal, crystal, salt, treasures left behind by geologic time. Each strike of a hammer, each flicker of flame, took humanity one step closer to the unseen world below. We learned to listen to the earth's voice, to the cracks, the echoes, the subtle tremors that told us when to advance and when to stop. And as tools evolved, so too did our ambitions. The industrial age brought machines of steel and fire, capable of piercing deeper into the crust than any before. But even our greatest efforts barely scratched the surface. The crust, the outer skin of the planet, may seem thin, yet to us it's nearly impenetrable. We live upon mountains that rise 10 kilometers high, yet the crust beneath our feet reaches down dozens of kilometers, and beyond that lies an expanse no human has ever touched. Then came one of humanity's most ambitious experiments, the Kola Super Deep Borehole. In the remote Arctic lands of Russia, scientists began drilling in 1970. Their goal, to reach deeper into the earth than anyone had ever dared. The project stretched for decades. Steel pipes sank through ancient rock, layer by layer, kilometer by kilometer. They passed through Precambrian formations more than 2 billion years old, rock older than multicellular life itself. The deeper they went, the stranger the world became. Temperatures rose sharply, far higher than expected. At 12 kilometers down, the heat reached 180 degrees Celsius. The rock became plastic, bending instead of breaking. Drilling became harder, slower, and more uncertain. And yet the scientists pressed on. At last, after years of effort, they reached a depth of 12,262 meters, over 12 kilometers into the earth. It was and remains the deepest artificial point ever made by humankind. And though it was a mere fraction of the distance to the core, Less than 0.2% of the way, it changed everything we knew about. They found microscopic fossils in solid granite, remnants of ancient life sealed away for billions of years. They discovered new rock structures, hidden layers of seismic reflection that revealed how unpredictable the Earth's interior could be. The deeper they drilled, the more the idea of a simple, ordered interior gave way to something dynamic and alive. When the project finally ended in the early 1990s, the borehole was sealed, not from failure, but from success at the limits of our tools. The heat and pressure had grown too great. The Earth, it seemed, had quietly reminded us of its power. But the curiosity didn't stop there. It never could. In the decades since, new efforts have continued across continents and oceans. Japan's GQ project aims to drill through the oceanic crust and into the upper mantle, using the natural thinness of seabeds to reach deeper layers. Other projects, from Iceland to the Pacific, seek to touch the mysterious Mohorovicic discontinuity, the boundary between crust and mantle. Each mission faces the same immense challenges: heat, pressure, and cost. Yet each one teaches us more about the engine beneath our feet. We are explorers of the unseen, pushing ever deeper, guided by data, seismic waves, and hope. Every measurement, every sound wave sent through the Earth brings us closer to understanding how our planet breathes and evolves. But the greatest explorations may not be physical, they may be mental. We've built models, simulations, and instruments that let us visualize the deep Earth from afar. Supercomputers now recreate the motion of molten iron in the core, showing how magnetism flows like tides. They reveal mantle plumes, vast columns of heat rising toward the crust, feeding volcanoes and renewing the surface. And within the core, they show the delicate balance of rotation, crystallization, and energy transfer that keeps the magnetic field alive. Through science, we've learned that the Earth is not static, it is a living system, changing slowly, eternally, like the breath of a sleeper. When we imagine the journey to the center of the Earth, it isn't just a descent through rock and fire. It's a journey inward into curiosity itself. Each discovery mirrors our own desire to understand what we are made of, where we come from, and how we endure. The core is not just a destination, it's a reflection of human persistence. It is the symbol of our need to explore, even when we know we can never reach the end. Breathe softly now, and imagine that curiosity has a gentle light. It flickers in the mind like a candle flame, small but unyielding. Even surrounded by darkness, it burns, patient, determined, eternal. That flame has carried us through centuries of exploration. It drove the first explorers to cross oceans, to climb mountains, to look up at the stars, and now to look inward, into the deep, into the very structure of the world that holds us. Scientists say we will never dig to the core. The pressure would crush any material, the heat would melt every machine. And yet, that impossibility only deepens the wonder. For the heart of the Earth remains untouchable, a reminder that mystery still exists, even in an age of answers. Some places are meant not to be conquered, but to be imagined. Imagine standing on the surface again, feeling the steady pull of gravity beneath your feet. Every step you take connects you to that hidden world below, to the crust, the mantle, the molten sea, the solid core. Each heartbeat mirrors the rhythm of that world. Each breath aligns with its quiet pulse. The planet and you are not separate. You are one system, one story unfolding together. The same iron that forms the core flows through your blood. The same heat that drives the mantle warms the soil that feeds you. And the same cosmic dust that created the earth also created you. In exploring the planet, we explore ourselves. Take a slow breath. Feel the weight of that truth, gentle, grounding, comforting. You are connected to something vast, ancient, and kind. You are the voice of curiosity made flesh, the witness to a story billions of years old. Even now, as you listen, as your thoughts slow and your body softens, the planet beneath you hums quietly. A steady, low vibration, the same rhythm that has echoed since the earth was born. That hum carries through every mountain, every ocean, every cell of your body. It is the song of creation, deep, warm, endless. Perhaps that is what humanity has always been searching for. Not simply what lies beneath, but why it lies there. Why something so powerful, so enduring, exists within quietness. The core reminds us that stillness is not emptiness. It is potential. It is energy resting, waiting, transforming. It is life unseen, sustaining everything above. And as you drift now into calm, let that idea settle within you, that curiosity and peace can coexist, that wonder can be tranquil, that even as the earth turns and changes, its center, like yours, remains steady, unwavering, and calm. You are safe upon this spinning world. The same fire that once birthed it still glows beneath you, warm and eternal. And though we may never reach the core, we carry its story with us. In our science, in our questions, in the quiet persistence of the human spirit. Because to seek understanding is in itself to touch the heart of the earth. So rest now. Let the curiosity fade into calm. Let the rhythm of the planet cradle your thoughts. The mantle moves, the oceans breathe, the iron heart turns. And through it all, life continues. The earth is not only our home, it is our mirror. And somewhere deep below its core, that silent, glowing crystal keeps time with our dreams. The world sleeps, and so do you. And so, our long descent comes to an end. From the crust where life unfolds, through the mantle's slow tides, into the molten ocean of the outer core, and finally to the crystalline heart at the planet's center. We have traveled together through every hidden layer of the world beneath our feet. The journey has not been about distance, but about discovery. Each step downward revealed not just what lies beneath, but how deeply we are connected to this living planet, and to what the earth turns silently, and yet it carries every heartbeat, every breath, every dream we've ever had. It holds our beginnings, our history, and perhaps our future, all wrapped around a heart of fire that never stops glowing. Take a slow breath now. Let the sound of the earth's quiet rhythm linger in your thoughts. Let it remind you that even in stillness there is motion. Even in silence there is creation. Even in darkness there is warmth. You are part of that same endless rhythm, a story billions of years old, still unfolding, still beautiful. To everyone who joined this journey, thank you. Your curiosity, your calm, and your presence keep this exploration alive. If this voyage brought you peace, wonder, or even a moment of quiet rest, consider leaving a gentle like or subscribing to join this growing circle of dreamers and explorers. Together we'll keep traveling through the mysteries of space, time, and the natural world, one calm heartbeat at a time. Now, let go. The journey is complete. The earth cradles you in its warmth. The molten heart below hums softly, a lullaby of gravity and time. Rest in that rhythm. Rest in that peace. You are home.